a few minutes. So on the left side, you can see all the procurement system related, options. Once you click on it, there will be something called auto min-max. Even if you call ISQROL, it's the same thing. This is a summary here. It's a demo account, but what you probably want to go as you have a new account, you probably want to go to the preferences first, which is where you can set up all the preferences regarding this system. So the way this is one thing I want to spend a lot of time on. The reason is that the way the min-max system works is most of the time people are not intuitive about. So almost all the other min-max system that you might have heard of or used in the past from other software or something, it's called very static. That is, if you adjust a min-max quantity for one product, it stays adjusted. It stays adjusted forever, right? So that way, it's not changing. So if the product starts picking up in terms of sales, its product starts picking less up, I think, in the less demand, it's not adjusting either. So it stays throughout that time. It does not consider seasonality. It does not change in terms of new products being introduced or products being discontinued by the system, by the companies, so on and so forth. So the one thing we have done differently, it's a very dynamic in nature. What it does is it looks at the recent data of your sales, recent, let's say 2, 3 months of data. It also combines it with the seasonality of the last year's data, if it's available. And it combines them in a very smart way, in a statistical way, to give you a better min-max calculation. Now, here is the most important thing. That calculation is recalculated. What we call in a technical terms is called recalibrated every week. So every Monday morning, every Sunday midnight, it's taking at the new data, somewhat new data, and recalculating all the min-max again. So what are the implication of this thing? So let's say there was a product that used to be that used to be a highly selling item in your store, but as the time goes, it was not actually selling. If you keep looking at every week with the system, Sahai will basically look at it. Sahai will adjust min-max quantity accordingly. Vice versa, if there was a product that was newly introduced to the market and it started picking up in terms of sales, Sahai will also accommodate that and adjust min-max every week accordingly. Remember, Sahai also looks at the last year's seasonality data and combines that in a very intelligent way. So a lot of time people say, once I adjust it one, I don't want it to go to zero or this or that. You don't have to worry about any of those things. If the product keeps selling, it will keep adjusting its min-max accordingly. If the product stops selling, it will also adjust min-max. And eventually, if there is not enough sales in that 2 months or so, guess what? The min-max will be zero. So this is what makes it very, very unique in terms of Sahai. It's this dynamic nature of adjusting min-max stock over the time by looking at the recent sales data is what sets apart everything. Now, one thing I want to talk about is called preferred items range. So sometimes if people are uncomfortable in terms of giving how much weighting they want to give to Sahai or how much control they want to do to Sahai in terms of, let's say, I don't want it to use more than up to 2,000 rupees only. I want it to go or 1,500 rupees in this case. Then it will not touch any product that is more than in MRP 1,562 rupees. On the right side, you will also see how many products are affected by that. So if I go back down to the smaller threshold, it will automatically say, okay, 168 products, Sahai will take care of it. There are about 5 products that Sahai will not be taking care of, and you'll be responsible for that. And we'll see all those things. So once you configure this thing and once you save these settings, Sahai will basically automatically every week recalculate those things. So let's go back to the summary. And then once you configure that, you'll probably come back to summary page often. It will say 304 items you have in the system. It is suggesting min-max that needs to be updated for about 250 products. Of course, this is a dummy account. If you have already approved some of the min-max, it will show up here. And they have excluded certain products. And we'll see why they have excluded. So let's go to the suggested min-max. So here you will see basically all the products that is asking you to update in terms of their min-max. You will also see the current min-max. You will also see the suggested min-max. If there is no change, it will say the value difference that we are suggesting is 0. So there is basically the min-max are already perfect the way it is. if there is a change, as you can see here in the third product, which is called SC-Clo MR, it's suggesting that let me just adjust the screen really quickly here. Okay, so it is suggesting that um, right now the min-max is 0, but according to your sales data, it should be 1, 1, and hence you will be investing 89 rupees more. So if you want to sort it, you can sort it. You can say basically this product you have way over set of min-max, and it is asking you to lower down their min-max because somehow there is not enough of sales. So 5,000 rupees you are over investing into this product. Vice versa, if something is completely underestimated or completely under up, set up in terms of min-max, and it is asking you to bump up because of the sales data or seasonality or whatever, it will say you need to invest more money into this 2,208. Let's say, for example, and you can pick and choose, you can set a filter. So what a lot of our customers like to do is when they use this first time, of course they don't trust us, right? So they they don't trust the system. And what they like to do is they like to set up certain filters based on their categories and these and that, and sort of go through them one by one and see if it actually makes sense, right? They like to verify with the data and all that. And we of course welcome that kind of scrutiny. Um, you can pick and choose which manufacturer you want to focus on. You can verify a few data points. We can verify certain MRP range or value difference, whatever you want to do. And once you, let's assume for a minute that let's say we actually satisfy all your curiosity and Sahai turn out to be something that you can rely on. So once you say, okay, fine, you know what, I understood, everything is cool. You select all, or you can select one by one, doesn't matter. So there are 50 items selected right now. It's only 50 of them are on the screen. And let's say you approve those min-max, right? And you say, this is cool. And if anything is in short book needed to be on the short book, please also add them to the short book. So once you click on it, it will go through and adjust all the min-max. It will also create a short book accordingly. So as you can see, it used to be 250 products here. Now 50 have been approved, and it will move down to the approved tab. But and of course, you can go by the rest of the 200, or you can select a more, this is just one-time process as well. So, or you can do approve all as well. So if you are curious about the past sales, you can of course look at your F3, which is available everywhere in the system. You can sort of verify the data. Now, what I want to do is I want to spend a few minutes on excluded portion. So these are the products that we actually did not touch at all. When I say we, I meant the Sahara. Why did we not touch it? So there are a couple of reasons that was possible. Let's say order frequency. What it basically means is that yes, you sold this product over the last 8 weeks or so. However, it wasn't frequent enough, right? And yet it's very hard for a machine learning system to make any decisions based on that. So we basically decided not to include into our analysis or our suggestion. That's one reason. Second is, let's say if you have locked the product yourself, right? Manually, some people don't like to order or let us have a control. So let's I have a control over products that are either specialty product, rarely selling products, so on and so forth. It actually also you can lock them, and of course you will be taking care of them manually. Remember, we set up a configuration in MRP. So this is one of the products where it says it's over MRP, and hence we are not touching it. So if you remember, we did about 1,200 or something, so it's 1490, and it's not touching it. One thing I also want to say before we move further, Saha is actually smart enough. So a lot of people have concern over, I sold something to, let's say a simple product like, Rosucor. Now, Rosucor is a running product. It's a fast moving product. However, sometimes what happens is there is a special customer who shows up to your doorstep, to your pharmacy, and they buy it in bulk. Usually it's, kind of people like NRIs or something special. They like to buy it in bulk. And a lot of people fear that that bulk purchase, that bulk sale that just happened will reflect into min-max. So I have good news for that. Min-max system is much more sophisticated than that. What it does is also looks at the usual size of the order for that particular product. And if any size of the order seems very exceptional, what we call technically an outlier, it also automatically removes that, right? So for example, let me give you an example. Let's say every time you sell Rosucor, it usually 1 or 2 strips only. And suddenly there is an order with 20 strips. So what will it do? It will still go with the regular size orders, which is 1 or 2 strips, calculate min max automatically. But when it comes to this 20 strips, it will omit that particular order from the calculation, right? Because it could be from different reasons, a special order, NRI order, like I said. It could also be typo. Sometimes somebody made a mistake in the billing, and it will basically get rid of that as well. So SAI is much smarter in those sense to take care of these things. If there is a product that's only sold once or something, like it says order frequency, it will probably show up here. You can take care of it if you think that it's something you want to order it for no matter what reason. You can, of course, override and you can put it in manually. You can directly add things to the short book here as well. So let's review this real quick. Every Monday morning, so Sunday night, midnight, so I will look at the fresh data of the latest week. It will tweak all the min-max. It will suggest new min-max if there should be any changes. You can come here. You can approve those new min-max if you need to approve it. Remember, first time you do it, there will be thousands of products here. Second time onwards, there won't be much because it's only changing 1 week at a time. If there are any exclusion criteria applied, you need to go through them one by one. The idea is not Saha is doing 100% of his job. The idea is Saha is doing about 80 to 90% of his job. When the products are very sensitive, rarely selling, over MR, like a very expensive, it's probably not going to do anything for you. You have to manage them yourself. Once all things are said and done, basically the new min max are in fact any products that are below the min will automatically go to the short book, sit there. So remember, let's go back to the basics. I'm gonna go back to the main page here. Um, Basically, this was the first portion of the autopilot purchase system that we talked about, which is setting up the min max.